I'm welcoming you to our meditation service. If you're tuning in now, then you're ready to meditate with us. Our meditation service is going to go for approximately minutes-ish. And at 10:30 a.m. in the new daylight savings time zone for the Pacific Coast, in about 30 minutes we will begin our music and message service. So right now I'm going to invite you to get comfortable. Find a place to be seated. If you're in your bed, prop yourself up. We're going to go into a lucid state of divine awareness, also known as a meditation. Today we're going to do things just a little bit differently. Normally we do a stillness meditation. Today, because this weaves in with the service, we're going to do an activation. And we're just going to connect. So it's a little bit like a visioning, and meaning that when we move into the field, of which I will center us down, we'll go into that field, and we're going to allow ourselves to be available to witness and observe things as we call them into view. We're not going to visualize, and we're not going to try to seek or find anything. We're just going to evoke it and then see what we see. So no efforting, no trying. Those are the general mandates of all meditation. So I'm going to invite you to get comfortable. If you need to close the door or dim a light or draw the blinds, we'll go ahead and do so. If you need to put do not disturb on your phone or your device, go ahead and do so. And then in that comfortable position, I'm going to invite you just to set the intention that you're going to allow this to be a profound and brilliant and illuminating experience. All meditation has the intention built into it. Mantras are about holding a particular frequency or vibration. Movement meditations are about really having a connection between body and spirit. And this particular type of activation / visioning meditation is going to require that we're going to set the intention of connecting with the desire of your soul. Just available to the desire of your soul. So with that being said, I'm going to invite you to go ahead, close our outer eyes as we prepare to begin. And as always, we begin by simply and gently giving ourselves permission to relax. Just saying to ourselves and our minds, I give myself permission to relax. As we invite, as we evoke, as we commune and connect with the eternal frequencies and energies of pure love, beauty, peace, harmony, and illumination. We take a moment and we set the intention that we are allowing ourselves to feel, see, hear, know, and understand the desires of our soul. We take a moment and we allow ourselves to become aware of a particular area of our lives, whether that's physical, emotional, mental, or situational. whether that's an aspiration or something with regards to a relationship, that you choose to desire, to become aware of the desire for that situation. We take a moment as we become aware of that intention and simply state it in our minds. My intention is to know, allow, receive, and embrace the truth and the desire associated with this particular area of my life. And then letting go as we bring our awareness to our breathing with the intention of solely and only allowing it to become fuller and fresher and wider and deeper. No need to change or effort. Just allow it. We take a moment and we know that as we exhale, we use that as a vehicle to release. And as we inhale, we draw in more of the eternal light. And so I invite you to join me as we let go and release, relinquish any tension, confusion, or stress from earlier in the week, the month, the decade, from any dimension of any incarnation. We don't need to know how or why. Any dormant or suppressed energies of tension, confusion, or stress, we exhale and we just allow it to evaporate and transmute. We allow ourselves to let go of all figuring and analyzing. Just exhaling, letting go of any efforting or trying. And inhaling the vibration and the frequency of clarity, serenity, optimism, and faith. We take a moment and we let go deliberately of all attachments to time. Letting go of any attachments to the past, any projections to the future, and even any ties to the present. As we open even more to the eternal light and the energy of our soul, I invite you to feel the energy of your soul as it begins to flow and glow, merge and converge with every morsel, muscle, fiber, cell, and tissue of your physical, emotional, and mental bodies. You'll begin to notice that our breath and our breathing is now just cycling the eternal light of the soul. Inhaling peace, love, wellness, and goodness. Exhaling serenity, calm, vitality, and tranquility. And feeling those energies beginning to soften and strengthen, open and expand. Every fiber, morsel, and muscle of your physical body. You'll begin to feel waves of rejuvenation and relaxation, flooding and filling all the muscles, organs, bones, ligaments, and joints. We feel that energy in our emotional body. There's freedom, divine strength, compassion, and understanding. And in the mental body, there's clarity that awakens to revelation and inspiration. And so I invite you to bring your awareness to your soul, to your soul star, to the energy of your bliss body that is one with God. We become aware of our soulful energy. Many feel or sense it as being directly above your crown. And just feel the infinite brilliance of your soul. I invite you to bring your awareness down to your heart center with the intention of opening the heart. I invite you to feel a wave of energy that is simply and elegantly flowing back and forth between the heart and soul. We begin to feel the coherence and the connection. And we feel the desires of the soul flooding into the heart center. No efforting, no trying. Just allowing the purest, holiest knowing and observation of the coherence between the heart and soul. And then letting go as we bring our awareness to our crown. Connecting with the higher mind, awakening our divine sensorium. I invite you to feel an energy traveling between your heart and your mind, a wave of energy. It's not unusual for sometimes the body to sway as you feel the wave traveling up and down, back and forth, between the heart and the crown. You can feel the coherence and the connection. And then we let go. Now I invite you to allow your soul, your heart, and your mind to merge into the oneness, that we may observe the truest, purest, holiest desires of that which your soul is seeking to experience, express, to have, and to know with regards to your intention, that may be with regards to your health or vitality or relationship, or your career, your home, or a truth about yourself. Just allow yourself to observe the energy of the perfect blueprint of whatever it is that your soul is seeking, the highest, greatest, and grandest expression. And I invite you to imagine or feel or sense as though you're looking out into a field in front of you. And whatever the desire is, the intention, I invite you to see it, feel it in its highest expression, in God's holiest expression for you, as you, outside of time. Feel the highest, know the greatest, see the grandest expression of whatever it is. No judging, no analyzing. Note the colors, or the setting, or the sounds, or the smell. Feel the vibration. See it out before you. Sense it. And whether it's one or more, whatever you see, whatever you feel or sense, imagine a wave of energy traveling to it from your heart center and coming back to you. Creating coherence and connection. And then imagine as that wave goes back and forth with each cycle, as it returns to you, it pulls the energy closer and closer to your body. Feel, sense, receive, absorb. The vibration of the highest, greatest, and grandest, holiest vision. Until it's snuggled up to your body and enters your heart. We are merging with this energy. Coherence and acceptance. And now I invite you, with the intention of fully absorbing the greatest and grandest, highest, holy, divine vision, version, vibration of your desires. I invite you to bring your awareness down to your Earth Star. If you were standing, you would see that about a meter, maybe 4, 5, 6 feet beneath your feet. Your Earth Star is where we individually ground into form, into experience, into matter, into a feeling. We ground heaven on earth. So I invite you to feel that energy now making its way down from your heart to your earth star. Like a beam of light shining down, sparkling into your earth star and rooting itself in the material world. As above, so below. We ground it to our earth star. And I invite you to feel the energy of gratitude. Deep and abiding, faithful gratitude. Knowing it is God's good pleasure to bring forward the kingdom of heaven to, through, and as you. So we are truly grateful to know that everything we need to experience the most magnificent expression of beauty, wellness, love, harmony, mutual beneficial reverence, love, kindness, and respect, prosperity, and joy. We ground to the energy of bliss. We ground the energy of the eternal, and we allow everything to be fresh and new. We feel the energy of benevolent satiation and divine fulfillment coursing through our veins, our bones, our emotions, our mind. And as we do, we are so grateful, so thankful. We are in deep appreciation, knowing that the universal presence, that which we call God, the universe, Jehovah, Yahweh, Allah, Adonai, that which we know to be bliss beyond our wildest dreams. We are one with this. Born from the heart, the mind, the light, the love of God Almighty, we say yes to remembering the truth. And we always keep it fresh and alive. How grateful I am to know that something wonderful is only and always taking place in the mind of God. That the omniamorous, omniscient, omnipotent wisdom and power that has created every dimension of every incarnation, that illuminates all the stars and beats our hearts, that circulates our blood and crashes the waves, that blooms the flowers and allows us to experience loving oneness with other beings. How grateful I am to know that we are saying yes to ever-expanding good, glory to greater glory in our lives, the eternal life. And as we bring it into time and space, as we ground it to our earth star, it is in deep and abiding thanksgiving, knowing that we have always been, will always be, the beloved in whom God is so pleased. And so we ground it, we claim it, we own it, and we allow it to be even better than we could ever imagine with our surface mind. We let it be so. We ground it so. We claim it so. And we agree by saying, and so I let it be. And so it is. Amen. so as we come back into a lucid state of divine awareness, it's always good after prayer, after meditation. Just as the law of creation works, we return to the beginning, we take the idea, we bring it into time and space so that we may have the experience. Well, that's what we've just done, and we're going to continue to allow that to be. So I'm going to invite you, if you need a little extra grounding, which means we're grounding heaven on earth. That's what we're grounding when we ground. You might want to take opposite hand to opposite knee, push down a little bit if you need that. It balances the masculine and feminine hemispheres of our energy body. I want to welcome you back. Take a moment and just let it integrate into your cells, your genes, your DNA. We're getting ready for our Sunday service, which is going to start in just a few minutes. So if you need to use the restroom, go ahead and do that. If you need to get some more tea, go ahead and do that, or your green drink or coffee. Go ahead and do that, and we'll see you back in just a few.
Good, beautiful Sunday morning, Soul Center. So happy to be with you this morning, and thank you for joining us. It was a beautiful meditation with Reverend Keith. Thank you, Reverend Keith. And we are here to welcome all of you beautiful, perfect emanations of God this morning. And of course, we have a few announcements. And we're super excited about launching our new series, which starts on Friday night, March 26th. And the series is Spiritual Life Hacks. And a life hack is something that is kind of a lasered solution, something quick and powerful that's transformative for you, for maybe some questions in your life or some issues that you're struggling with. And it's just a really something efficient and uplifting and fun. And we are so grateful because Reverend Cheryl Ward, former actually person in charge of Agape University, she was the former dean of Agape University, is going to be joining us to offer her opinions and experience, deep spiritual experience, along with Reverend Keith. And then Jessica Susalik, who's always fun as a host. She keeps things really lively. So join us and bring us your questions, your issues, anything on your mind. No subject is off limits. And you can also email us in advance to info@soulcenteroc, your questions, so that they can be sure to be answered. So this is kind of a condensed little session. It's fast, it's quick, and it's powerful. So join us. We're really looking forward to it. And of course, we've got a couple more announcements for you, and inviting you always to send us your prayer requests. So our purpose here is to support you and to enhance your life, and we have a whole team of prayer warriors waiting to do that for you. So please don't be shy. Anything you need support on, just info@soulcenteroc.com. And that also applies to our soul circles. If you want to get involved in a small group where you can make new friends of like-minded beliefs, that's how you do it. info@soulcenteroc.com, and we'll get you in the right group. And again, you don't want to miss Reverend Keith's daily affirmative prayer calls that are Monday through Saturday. And I've just been getting some great feedback from people that even when they can't make it in the morning at 9:30, they go back and watch it later in the day. So remember, it's there for you at any point in time, just to lift you and really empower you. So don't forget, and that's a beautiful, beautiful tool available to you almost every day of the week, except Sundays when we're here. So that's wonderful. And then our Course in Miracles study group every Tuesday night with Akili Beckwith is just a gorgeous coming together and a deepening into spirit. So, and if you're interested, please sign up for our newsletter at soulcenteroc.com, because that's where all this is laid out and articulated, also on our website. And it's also my honor to invite Jerome up to launch our service with a reading, and then we'll do our affirmation and another beautiful prayer.
Good morning, everyone. Our reading this morning is from Reverend Michael Bernard Beckwith, entitled From Wayward to Way Forward. Reeling, barely coping, mourning, taking a stand. These are just some of the more printable comments I've received from countless individuals about the times our world is currently facing. I am no exception to standing in what is uncharted territory and not knowing what is next. But there is one thing I absolutely know: Spirit is now and ever shall be in charge. The time to our collective heart and soul is this: to let go of reactive habit patterns and ground ourselves in trusting the fundamental goodness of the universe, the same goodness that lives with each one of us. Then, if our heart feels called to protest injustice, let it begin with prayer. If our mind feels called to take action by signing petitions, to marching in support of our world family, let us do that also, beginning with prayer. It is prayer that speaks most meaningfully and clearly to the dilemmas and questions with which our world family is now dealing. Use this time to deepen your spiritual practice, for it is then, as Thich Nhat Hanh informs us, love will enter our thoughts, our words, and our actions. Through prayer, the tendency to set anger and retaliation loose gives way to patience, forgiveness, loving kindness. Then, whether the winds that begin to blow are revolutionary or evolutionary, we will stand in them with a healing peace radiating out from our being into the world. Let us pray with Reverend Keith.
Thank you, Jerome. Thank you, Patricia. Good morning, Soul Center. This is our time of turning into the prayer field, which means we're just going to relax. We're going to relax and return to the beginning. We take a moment as we open our hearts, our bodies, our emotions, our minds to the infinite glory, the infinite beauty, the infinite life, and intelligence that we call God or the Creator or the universe. We open to that and we allow ourselves to return home. Returning home to that vibration of brilliance, of bliss, of joy. This is the eternal frequency of our divine beingness. And so we say yes to a greater and grander experience, a greater and grander knowingness, a greater and grander remembering of who we truly are. That you, that me, that we, that each and every one of us, born from the mind, the light, the love, the heart of God, of the divine. We are as God is as we are at the level of the soul, beyond our personality, beyond our name, age, race, religion, gender, situations, circumstances, beyond any of the titles or trappings of the personality or time or space. There is an eternal, brilliant starburst of light that is your soul, that is a microcosmic expression of the macrocosmic magnificence, that is the universal presence of ever-expanding good. And we remember the truth, that God is a good, and joy, and love, and beauty, and peace, eternally frequencing these brilliant qualities throughout every dimension of every incarnation. And as we return home to the great remembering of knowing who we are, that these energies are our energies, and that the temporal energies, those do not exist in the mind of God, nor do they exist in our soul. Our soul has never been hurt or harmed, and it only blisses and blesses all the time. This is its radiance, no matter what is happening at the level of the personality. Its radiance is brilliant. And so we say yes to blissing and blessing everything and everyone. I take this moment knowing as a divine ambassador, a harbinger, a messenger of the truth, to bless everyone streaming in right now live, those who are watching on the archives, those who are out and about. We bless everyone with wellness and goodness and peace and joy. We call them into their vibration of their magnificent eternal self. We bless this service knowing something wonderful is taking place. We yield to the holy light, and we allow these blessings to so radiate that we bless all individuals in all spiritual centers of all nations, of all cultures, of all religions. We bless everyone with goodness, and we bless knowing that we are saying yes, the blessing of yesing to the vibration of our glory, and that we are good at receiving our good. We say yes to receiving the blessings and bestowing the blessings. And so, as we move into this knowing that blessings, all they do is lift us from glory to greater glory, but we must receive them and we must ground them. So we bless wellness, we bless prosperity, we bless joy and harmony and mutual beneficial reverence, love, kindness and respect, spaciousness, freedom, clarity, optimism, faith like never before. We bless it so, we accept it so, we ground it so, we allow it to be so, claiming it so by saying, and so it is already done in the mind of God, and so it is, and so I let it be. Amen. And now it's time for our affirmations.
We'll now do our agape affirmations as a call and response. I'll speak a line and then we'll repeat it back together. My life vibrates in the eternal goodness of my God self.
My life vibrates in the eternal goodness of my God self.
Every cell of my body, emotions, and mind is one with the homeostatic wholeness and vitality.
Every cell of my body, emotions, and mind is one with homeostatic wholeness and vitality.
Benevolent abundance overflows every area of my life.
Benevolent abundance overflows every area of my life.
Every day I optimistically seek and find peace and prosperity and joy.
Every day I optimistically seek and find peace, prosperity, and joy.
All of my relationships express mutual respect, reverence, generosity, and loving kindness.
All of my relationships express mutual respect, reverence, generosity, and loving kindness.
With faith and gratitude I let it be.
With faith and gratitude I let it be.
And so it is. Amen.
And so it is. Amen. So now please get ready for some beautiful music. We have our amazing Rena back with us, along with Brian on keys and Jesse Godoy on guitar. You're going to love this. I know I say that every week, but it's true.
Good morning, Soul Center. Happy Sunday. It's one of my favorite songs to perform for y'all.
Yes, yes, yes.
One of Patricia's favorites. And it's definitely relevant to the way I'm feeling right now. We rehearsed it earlier and it was so comforting, so I'm excited to share that energy with all of you this Sunday. Weather's got you feeling particularly emotional. Use this time to just release and remember that all of our life is a surrender experiment.
rocks it. Jesse and Brian, they rock it. They are the A game. They bring their A game. They are the A game. I am just eternally grateful. Good morning, Soul Center. I'm Reverend Keith. I'm welcoming you to our Sunday service where we move and groove in spirit. We are a spiritual center, an affiliate of the Agape International Spiritual Center, which means that we deliberately participate in the capital C consciousness of our human evolution into the brilliance of our divine soulful magnificence. That was a mouthful. You'll have to rewind and repeat that back for yourselves, but it is absolutely true, which means we follow the truth teachings from wherever they come from. Whether it's the truth teachings that we find in the Hebrew Bible, the Christian Bible, the Bhagavad Gita, the Quran, the Tao Te Ching, the shamanistic teachings from around the world, wherever it comes from, the forefathers and mothers of our own movement, the forefathers and mothers of the New Thought, Ageless Wisdom, Agape movement, were the ones that embraced the laws and the principles and made them real within themselves in their lives. They took the scriptural truths and they embodied them to the degree that some people would call miraculous. That's who we are. We ask you to participate in that benevolently, brilliantly, and beautifully, because that's the vibration of God, of the universal presence. So we're saying, yes, that's the vibration of your soul. You're not the vibration of your personality, although it may contribute to your experience. But we want to up-level, upgrade, uplift, which brings us into the topic for today, which is aligning with your divine algorithm. An algorithm, those are computations when we think of it from a computer perspective to bring about, solve problems or answer questions. And so there's a divine algorithm that's as opposed to temporal algorithms that are based on time and space, lack and limitation. They can do great things. But as we're in this month of March Gladness, we're saying yes to our divine algorithm, which means we want to understand how all of this works. Oftentimes in our spiritual practice, it's a bi-directional field of evolutionary growth. Bi-directional meaning sometimes we get an understanding of a principle, we get an understanding of a biased understanding, and other times we are spontaneously imbued with a truth, the aha moment of what that means as an embodiment, which seems like it rises up from within us and expresses out, versus the temporal experience where it comes from out here and begins to matriculate in. Well, as we say yes, either way is wonderful and beautiful, but the spontaneous nature of it is your divine algorithm, which allows you to move into understanding the law of transmutation, the law of attraction, the law of creation. Now, we all know at this point in time, most of us are aware that in the new science in medical cellular biology, epigenetics has been around for a while now that says that the environment that affects the genes in the cells, it's what turns on or off particular potentials within your DNA, within your genes, within your cells, and those potentials then express. They express as a heightened sense of vitality or a diminished sense of lack or limitation in your vitality. So we take a look and we look at the new science, which is also looking, when we look into the quantum field, we know that it used to be thought that things were very finite. In the Newtonian physics model, which is still, there's still wonderful things about that model, but in the Newtonian physics model, you would look at an atom, and you would see that it had a nucleus, and then you'd see the electrons spiraling around the nucleus, and we used to think in the old Newtonian way, we were looking at seeking to prove or find out what is behind the effect. Basically, we were proving what was already done in time and space. And that's fine. That serves a purpose. It's wonderful to find out, how did this flower bloom? How are the heart muscle beating? How are the lungs doing what they do? But all of that is tied to a collective consciousness of time and space. And it was believed back then, for many hundreds of years, that everything was kind of static and written in stone. Just like we used to think that genetics was written in stone. That if you had a predisposition to an illness, that it was written in stone. No, we know that that is not the case. We've known that since the dawning of time, as mystics have always embraced potentiality. So we want to make sure that we let go of what is predictable based on time and space and open to the potentials of our divine algorithm. Your divine algorithm is pulling you into the highest, greatest, grandest experience and expression of who you truly are in this world. So if you just take the analogy of your GPS, your global positioning system, there are algorithms, whether you use Waze or one that's built into your car or Google Maps or whatever it is that you use to navigate around. In the global positioning system, it takes these algorithms and it's calculating at lightning speed. Oh, there's this much traffic going on over here, and there's this many stoplights over here, and this is the speed of that going on over there. And it's saying, okay, so let's find the quickest, easiest route to get somewhere. And if we were to solely allow ourselves to just listen to what that temporal algorithm says, now some of you are probably familiar with this little trick that I know when I use Waze, sometimes you look and it'll say, here's the shortest route. And it has you weaving and bobbing and going all these different streets to get around when there's a much more direct line to get to wherever it is you're going. And so it gives you the most efficient one, but that most efficient one might be most efficient by 1 minute. And so do you want to do all that bobbing and weaving and diving and shimmin' and shaking if you can avoid all that and take the more direct route for 1 minute, which probably won't be 1 minute anyway. It'll probably end up being faster. But that means you have to observe and then choose. So on the temporal level, those algorithms are giving you templates to look at. But the quantum field, if you were to go into that field, then we're getting into string theory. Then we're getting into wormholes, because we know that the shortest distance in the old science between 2 points is a line. We know in the quantum field the shortest distance between 2 points is now, or a wormhole, that would take point A and point B and fold it over and bring B right onto A, and boom, you're there. You don't have to travel across this big, long line. And then when I get there, that it took me so long, and along the way this happened and that happened, etc., etc. So we want to move into the new science, which is the old teachings, the ancient wisdom of our new thought movement. That's what it means. We get to have new, fresh ideas about the ancient wisdom, and we align with the divine algorithm. Also known in some degree, I call that our divine inertia that's pulling us towards something. But what it requires is that we move into, instead of a GPS, a global positioning system, we move into a divine potential system, a DPS. Our divine potential system opens us up to a field of energy that can allow us to get from point A to point B much more efficiently, much more benevolently, much more elegantly. And how do we get there? We get there through prayer and meditation. Those are the portals. There's no way around it. There's no way around going into the stillness and connecting into the field, or as Greg Graydon might call it, the divine matrix. We connect into the field of the divine mind that will show us, which is truly just the energy and the wisdom of your soul, And that is why this morning I'm going to invite you to go back. If you weren't with us during the meditation, I'm going to invite you to go back and do the meditation that we did this morning, because we were creating coherence. We were creating coherence, and so as we look at the new science, as we look at having a new idea of how we can move through our lives with this divine algorithm, we begin to look at things and we get to assess things. We get to assess things and we get to let go of what is predictable. Now, predictable or familiar, that's usually tied to time and space with the past. This has happened, so it's going to happen again. That's oftentimes associated with the law of associative memory. Oh, well, I did this, I went down that road, and it was all jacked up before, or it's always crowded, and it's always this, so I'm going to avoid that road. And so that's what's predictable. Or maybe it's a relationship you're in where somebody has habits, they have a tone in their demeanor, maybe they have particular personality traits that grate against you. And so there's a predictability about what you can expect. You know, sometimes we have those people in our life where it's like, oh, I can only take so-and-so in small doses. Wouldn't want to stay with so-and-so away on a weekend because, oh my God, I'd probably lose my mind. Well, we're going to let all that go. We want to let go of what's predictable, and we want to go into what's possible. So going back to the atom as the metaphor, we now know that the electrons that circle around the nucleus of the atom, they don't go into a hard state known as the observer effect. When we observe something, they coagulate into form. That is when we have believed something, when we have perceived something, when we have a knowingness about something, then it takes the abstract of the subatomic world and it brings it into form, and that's when you're going to see that beautiful Newtonian idea of the atom with the electrons floating around in a particular tight space. But when you observe that without observing, I know that's a little bit of a paradox, you'll see that what science has found out is that the electrons actually spread out and they move into potentiality. The observer effect means that I am allowing myself to perceive something that I'm expecting, that is predictable. So when we used to look at the old idea of biochemistry or cellular biology, we would see, oh, this is what has been, and it has coagulated itself into a form. And if we want to change the form, then we change by turning within and moving to a higher frequency. And as it says in Scripture, that in all ways acknowledge first God, and then let God direct you. We turn within, we acknowledge first the infinite field of potential, and we're looking for the highest, greatest, grandest, most benevolent, brilliant, blissful potential, and then we're going to bring that into form. Now, where we get a little mucked up in our situations and circumstances, so for example, I knew a gentleman, he was a father, he had a son, and this story, unfortunately, has happened quite a few times to quite a few people, but there was an incident of infidelity, and things got rocky with his wife, and his wife decided that it was the last straw, and that they were going to get a divorce. The son ended up being so angry and so upset that he just ceased all communication with his father. He had basically thought and believed it was his father's fault, so they cut off communication. When he made his way into my presence for services to heal this, he was looking for something deeper. Now, predictable things would tell us that, oh, I've got to do this and that and whatever, and I've got to earn my way back, and I've got to do good behavior. I've got to really mind and walk the straight line from this point forward. I got to keep hounding him. I got to keep inviting him. What he was looking for, what the intention was. So we go to the intention. We go to the intention, and the intention was to have a beautiful relationship with his son. Now, as we started digging, we knew that the infidelity, which created this bad illusion of a father who was unfaithful and a liar, that wasn't the incident. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. Whenever something blows up, it's usually not that everything was hunky-dory and then all of a sudden something, boom, it snapped. No, there was energy coming along the way before that, and it built to a crescendo and snap. Whether that's in our body temples as something degenerating, it right there in the word, degenerate. So if something, a muscle, a bone, a tissue degenerates, it means it was going downhill for a while, but usually we don't notice that until it hits a crescendo of some sort of pain or fracture of that nature in our body temples. But long before that showed up, and long before the rift between him and his son, there was already distance growing between them. And so the intention was for him to establish a sacred holy relationship with his son. Well, I had to influence that intention because he just wanted to have a connection with his son. He just wanted me to talk to him. I'm like, what you're really looking for is a sacred, holy father-son relationship. That's what you're really looking for. He wanted to do it via the road of time and space. And I was saying, hey, how about we go into the quantum field, which means we're going to utilize the law of transmutation, which means we're going to allow forgiveness and redemption to purify and cleanse us of anything, and I use this word very lightly, that we've done wrong. And by wrong, I mean out of integrity with kindness, love, and truth, generosity, peace, and mutual reverence and respect. So anything that's out of integrity without making ourselves bad or wrong. Now that can be very hard. If I've hurt someone, sometimes it can be challenging to let myself off the hook. Everything, no matter how heinous the crime, will be forgiven, and the perpetrator of that crime will be cleansed at some point, purely and wholly, not some airy-fairy fake rendition, oh, I'm sorry, but meanwhile I still want to go out and do that horrible thing. No, it's going to be purified and cleansed and brought into a high vibration, and it's very humbling, and it's super beautiful. So I said, are you willing to do that? And he said, yes, without making yourself bad or wrong, and he said, yes. And are you willing to go within to establish, we're going to do a wormhole experience, and we're going to bring cohesion and connection back between you and your wife and your son. And he was like all in with full sincerity. Now it took a while to get there, but we got there. And so we did similar to what we did in the meditation, which is why I'm asking you to go back and rewind later today, tomorrow, whatever, and do the meditation. And we're going to do a modified version of it today during this service, a much shorter, more succinct. But basically what he was doing is he was connecting to the energy of his son at a soul level, connecting to the energy of his wife at a soul level, and allowing through the quantum field, through the divine matrix, through the divine field, allowing a cohesion and a connection to start inviting. Now, originally his idea was, he's like, I really think if my son came and saw you, that would heal our relationship. And I said, well, it might work. I think it would work, actually, but there's a more efficient way. He doesn't need, because if you go to tell him, I need you to go see someone so that we can heal our relationship, that's probably not going to go over very well. It might work, might not work, in terms of getting him here. Once he got here, it would be great. But I said, well, let's be more covert, spiritually covert, and let's start going into the prayer field and letting go of historical information. We went back, and as we regressed in time, we were healing other incidences prior to the big blowout that were leading to the separation, and then we were availing ourselves to the vibration of the sacred relationship, and as we did in the meditation, then we were bringing it in. Because remember, a person is not their personality. I know that sounds a little crazy. They are a divine emanation of the Most High, and all souls will forgive. They don't even need to forgive. It's already forgiven at the level of the soul. They allow the earnest experience of a sacred holy relationship. So as we did this, and this was much more efficient and actually saved him a lot of money, because we did it, and then all of a sudden, and I'm not speaking solely from his experience, I've done this 100 times with all kinds of people where it's like, oh, sacred holy relationship. Okay, I did it with my dad, I did it with the bully, I've done it with lots of people, and I did it with this gentleman. We created a cohesion which allowed him to see that there was things he was doing from a fight or fight response prior to this. What was he really seeking when the infidelity happened? He wasn't seeking that. He was seeking something else, but he didn't know what he was seeking. He was seeking a deeper sense of connection, a deeper sense of quality, a deeper sense of cohesion. And when we did that, all of a sudden, it took a little bit of time, not too much actually. All of a sudden, his son reached out to him and said, Dad, you know, I've been thinking. I really want to have a sacred relationship. I don't think he used the word sacred, but he said, I want to have a healthy relationship with you. And then his wife reached out. Before they were going to get divorced, it was getting down to the wire, and she said a very similar thing, and everything started to heal. Now, I'm not saying that you have to, that coming back together as the nuclear family has to be the end result. Sacred relationships need to be the end result. That's all that matters. No matter what, that's what we are seeking. That's what the divine algorithm will find you if you choose to surrender into that. Because a divine algorithm is going to compute the fastest, most loving, most efficient, most brilliant and beautiful way for you to have a healing, a revelation, rejuvenation in any area of your life. And one of the key ingredients, so now as we look at the law of attraction, we know as we look at what brings things into form, sometimes we have a mental idea of what we'd like, but it is the heart space feeling tone, connecting with the divine to get in a feeling tone that creates the resonance. That's what we did in the meditation this morning. We were creating resonance. Resonance is where it's at. That's where cohesion is. That's when you can start to feel what Ernest Holmes would say, the energy. Faith is a mental attitude which is so convinced of its own idea. So if you allow your faith to be a mental attitude convinced of the idea, which is the intention, and you allow yourself to feel that in your heart, which is where we go in prayer, we open our hearts, we connect with the mind, we create cohesion, and then we allow ourselves to ground it into form. We ground it into form. We're following the law of attraction / the law of transmutation / the law of creation. Now, the law of attraction just operates. It brings things into form. Whatever you feed in, it brings it back. Cause and effect. The law of transmutation transmutes it. That's what healing had to take place with this gentleman to bring it forward. And then the law of creation, which aligns with the perfect blueprint that doesn't even know anything of trials or tribulations, lack or limitation. So this is what we're saying yes to. We're saying yes to our DPS, to our divine potential systems, where we're opening up to those potentials, and that means we're going to let go of the predictable. So when we make things predictable, what we're doing is we're taking something from the past and we're projecting it onto the future, and therefore it becomes predictable. We're going to go beyond, and this is a paradox of sorts, we're going to go beyond the traditional Newtonian, well, maybe it's not really Newtonian, it's more of a quantum, but we're going to go beyond science definition of the observer effect, because that means what I'm observing is going to have an outcome to a particular degree. We're going to go to a higher vision of a divine observation so that we can see the potential of the highest, greatest, grandest vision and version of that situation, circumstance, whatever it may be, and anchor it. Now, sometimes it takes a minute to bring it into form, and if you think about it, if you're trying to create matter from matter, if you're trying to create physical things, that's the slowest boat. If you try to create from the beginning and go turn within and allow yourself to get to like, ooh, what are the potentials. Oh, look at this potential. Oh, I don't like that potential. This potential over here. This is the divine potential. I'm going to bring that into the equation. You don't generally get that when you're doing matter into matter. When you're doing mind over matter, you got to bring yourself into the higher mind. And that's where we go into creating from the first cause. First cause is not the same as cause and effect. First cause brings you back to the beginning. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do that right now. I'm going to invite you to bring your awareness to your heart center. Bring your hands on your heart or leave them off to your side, whatever feels right and good to you. Opening the heart. We're going to create a little cohesion. This is just a mini version of the meditation we did this morning. And then I'm going to invite you to bring your awareness to your soul. To your soul, wherever, however you feel, the vibration of your soul. And then I'm going to invite you to feel the intention of that which you would like to heal, to expand, to enhance, to grow, to know, to feel, to experience. I'm going to invite you to become aware. What is your intention? Just pick one for simplicity's sake at the moment, whether it's a healing in your physical, emotional, or mental body, or in a relationship. Maybe it's the availability of potentials for a career, whatever it is. Then I'm going to invite you to create cohesion between the heart and the soul. Feel a connection between the heart and soul. Just breathe and feel it. Many of you are familiar with the soul star. Just feel your heart chakra, your soul star chakra connected, and then bring that cohesion to your mind. And allow your mind to vibrate with the energy, the feeling tone of the divine, the potentials and possibilities of that which is the highest, greatest, and grandest vision and version of the intention. And as you do that, we create coherence and we avail ourselves to not that which is predictable from time and space, but that which is available from the very heart and mind of God. Then we bring it down and we ground it to our earth star. We ground it into time and space. And we always leave room for evolution and change, expansion, enhancement. Yes, that's what we do. We allow ourselves to ground it. We ground it and we bring in the energy of gratitude. Gratitude for it's already done in the mind of God. And so I just want you to remember, as we move through that equation, you'll get the full version in the meditation. Just remember, the mind sends out the signal of the desire, the heart pulls it in. The mind sends out the signal, this is my desire. The feeling tone, the faith, the conviction, we're cultivating a feeling tone. That's what brings it in. When this gentleman got to the vibration, we got to a place, the sacred holy relationship with your son, with your wife, the forgiveness is already done. That's when the calls came. That's when they sought him. Because he sought them in the silence, they sought him in the physical. This is the way it works, people. This is what we're allowing to take place in our world. And again, we're going to go ahead in deep gratitude for knowing something wonderful is taking place in our lives. And we're going to allow ourselves to always connect as we move into prayer with the desire of the soul, the sacred, divine, holy algorithm that is always pulling you to the greatest and grandest of your life. No exceptions, no exceptions. We're going to allow it to be. So I invite you to join me as we turn within. We turn within, we open our hearts, our bodies, our minds, our emotions to the vibration of the soul, to the cohesive connection of divine algorithms that vibrate at bliss, at joy, at wellness, at goodness. This is the nature of life. This is the nature of God. We are saying yes to this even more than ever before. Glory to greater glory stipulates that we are evolving to the next greatest, grandest vision and version of our lives elegantly, efficiently, brilliantly, benevolently, effulgently. We say yes to the great remembering of knowing what it means to be born from the heart, the mind, the light, the love of eternal magnificence, that of God, as microcosmic expressions of the Most High, we know that the very same omniscient wisdom, the wisdom that created every galaxy, the wisdom that created and illuminates every star, that orbits every planet, that grows the trees and blooms the flowers, that flows the rivers and laps the waves upon the shore, sometimes with a soft and gentle motion, and sometimes with a huge dynamic crash that claps the thunder and strikes the lightning or sprays the rainbow. The very same intelligence, the brilliance that has brought forward infinite benevolent potential, it indwells within us. So we say yes to letting go of the predictable. We say yes to letting go of lack and limitation and opening to the divine potentials of our true nature, to the divine desires, to the divine algorithm. We say yes to this, to sacred holy relationships, to prosperity, to rejuvenating, regenerative wellness and goodness physically, emotionally, mentally, and situationally. We say yes to this. We ground it. We ground it to our Earth star even more, that we may be in the world but not of the world. We say yes to this right here, today, even more. And we simply and gratefully, with deep, deep appreciation, with faith that surpasses human understanding, we believe, receive, achieve, ground, and allow it to be by saying, and so I let it be, and so it is. Amen, Amen, Amin, Aho, Ashe, Shalom, Mahalo, Hotep, and Hallelujah. All right, Soul Center. Oh, that feels good. Yes. All right. So we're going to go ahead. We're concluding our service. We've still got a lot of good stuff. We got Rena and Brian and Jesse coming back in just a moment. But before we do, we're going to get ready for our conscious time of circulating that which we call prosperity or financial freedom. We're going to participate in the highest, greatest, grandest vision and version and potential of our own individualized, which means we circulate because it's not my money. It is divine circulation. So I'm grateful for all of those who have been contributing to our community as we get ready. We're going to be coming back in person soon, and we sure want to have all the resources. Our intention is to have all the resources to move into that space that we call our home. When we all come back together, we can give each other hugs. We're looking back. I mean, we're looking forward to that. And we're saying yes. So we're going to go ahead and move into tithing. And of course, you can. I believe if you're on Facebook, you can hit the donate button right there. You can text to give from your phone. You can text the word give to area code 669-342-2157. You can text the word give to that number, which is on the screen. And if you're watching, I think all of you can see that number. You can also go to soulcenteroc.com. You can hit the donate button. It's towards the bottom of the homepage there, that big orange donate button. Everything is safe and secure. And if you want to set up recurring tithing, we would love that. It just lets the banks know that we've got a consistent flow. For anything we might need for leases or mortgages or whatever it is. It looks good. You can also find our mailing address for the physical location. You can mail in a check. We love that too, all forms. And we know that as we're doing this, we're not giving from a finite resource. We are circulating in infinite abundance. And with that, as you prepare your tithe, we're going to invite Jesse and Arena and Brian back to fill our hearts and our ears with more deliciousness.
Song goes out to Sadie, actually.
Hold on. Hang on. One more time.
Things might be different, not what you think, but there's a whole world out there to see. Just gotta let go, follow your road. And it might be scary to take the leap, but I know we'll get there, get you me. Follow your path, it'll always lead you back. Oh, I love adventure and the great unknown. They say hot is where you'll feel it. I could feel it coming deep inside my bones. Say that you're hot, say that you're hot is where you'll feel it. Wherever you go, I hope you know never be alone. 'Cause the road's always been hard. We are feeling rough, I'm stuck on the run. You're never gonna be alone. 'Cause the road will always lead you. Ooh, it'll lead you. Ooh, it'll lead you.
Oh, how beautiful was that? Always good. Rena, you know I am a huge fan, and that voice is the voice of an angel. Brian, I love you. I am in awe of his talent. And Jesse, the feeling is mutual. You are awesome. I marvel at him. I just love watching Jesse with like, oh. All right, I'm going to move on to what we're here to do right now, which is we're going to bless our offering, which means we're going to step into something that we ought to be doing all the time, not from a shoulds place, but from a place of reverence and honor and soulfulness, which is bless. We bless everything. So we take, in our tradition, we bless, extending our prayers and our hearts through our hands. And we bless the offering. We know that we live in an abundant universe and that we continue to cycle, expand, and grow more prosperity, more financial freedom, knowing all needs are met for a soul center and for each of us individually. That we are growing into a greater and grander experience. The intention to feel that prosperity. The intention with our divine algorithm is to allow it to be, to create coherence with it. We create that coherence in our community, in our spiritual center as Soul Center OC. We create it individually. Know that it is already done in the mind of God. We are just catching up with it and allowing it. We're catching it, grounding it, and allowing it. We bless it so, knowing all needs are met, brilliantly, elegantly, efficiently, immediately, immaculately. We claim it so, we allow it to be so. Amen. Thank you, Soul Center. I truly adore and cherish all of you. You are my family. And so we're going to go ahead and get ready to close out for today. We're going to bring Rena and Jesse back. If you need to grab someone from the other room, go ahead and grab them. Those that you can hold hands with, and we're going to close out.
With God as our power.
and joy, beauty and prosperity flow through, move, groove, and behoove us even more. We open to the greatest, grandest potentials of blessings and blessings and heaven on earth. Truly grateful to know that something wonderful has taken place and continues to blossom itself. We say yes to an even greater and grander experience, allowing it all to be good, allowing it all to be now, and we simply agree and accept it